All right, guys, today we're going to be reviewing one of the newest releases from Heaven Hill. This is the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof Batch A122. Each and every year, Elijah Craig puts out 3 different releases of their barrel proof expressions, the A series, B series, and this C series. Some of them are obviously better than others. In my opinion, they all have different profiles to them. Like I said, the A, the B, and the C. From the A series, I have had the 17, 19, and 20. This is going to be one of the first times I'm trying the 22 just to see how it compares to everything else. Really excited to get into this one. I really don't come across these too often around my area, so I had to reach out and I was able to get one. I'm really excited to get into this one, guys. Without further ado, let's go. All right, guys, as I have mentioned, this is the Elijah Craig Batch A122, the first release, the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof Series for the 2022 year. These you can find on the shelves for anywhere between $60 to $75, depending on your area. This one comes in at 120.8 proof and is still age stated at the as 12 years old. So let's go ahead and get into the nose on this one, guys. Oh, yeah. A really, really nice nose. A lot of rich caramel in there. A little bit of some toffee sweetness. Almost a little like butterscotch in there, too. Like that toffee butterscotch. Almost like a Werther's a little bit. Yeah, heavy, heavy caramel. Just very rich and savory. Dense. A little bit of baking spices on there. Maybe a little like nutmeg, allspice. Not too heavy on the baking spices, though. Very, very caramel heavy. A little bit of like sweet vanilla. Slightest hint of like a maple syrup in there, too. Very, very little bit. Actually, I'm actually picking up a little bit of like the honey roasted peanut that you would typically get from some of the Elijah Craig barrel proofs. Yeah, again, nice like sweet vanilla, very heavy, savory caramel. Some toffee, butterscotch in there. And then, yeah, some of the, like the honey roasted peanuts. Not too much, but it's definitely there. Slight hint of maple syrup. Let's get into the palate, guys. Cheers. That's much better than I remember. So I didn't have last year's. I did have the 17, 19, and 20. So, again, that caramel that was on the nose, very, very present on the palate. It's like buttery. Caramel is just kind of flowing through everywhere. You know, the proof point on this one kind of tricks me a little bit. 120.8 proof. It is a little low for the Elijah Craig barrel proofs. But I must say, I actually like it. I feel like I can pick up a little more flavor as opposed to some of the ones that hit up into the, you know, the high 120s, into the 130s, mid 130s. So like very, very buttery and oily. And the finish, like you get, there's definitely some baking spices in there. Maybe a little bit like allspice, like some paprika in there as well. Into the back. It's pretty good first sip. Let's get into the second one. Yeah, so that second sip that changed a lot. On the front of the palate, I do pick up a little bit of that like honey roasted peanut. Very oily, buttery mouth coating. Caramel is just all over the palate. Specifically like on the mid palate. That's dominating the mid palate. There's some like burnt sugars there, also towards like the back into the finish with some paprika. Also picking up, and this is very odd for me. I have picked it up in some of the older Elijah Craigs. It's like a cayenne pepper that kind of sits and flows in through the back of the palate and into the finish with that paprika. And caramel dominating the palate. Burnt sugars there also into the back of the palate through the finish. This is this is what I was hoping was going to happen with the Elijah Craigs, was that it was going to go back to the way that it was, because there were a lot of misses there over the last several years, especially with the A batch. B batch and C batch, in my opinion, tend to be a little bit better than the A batch. This is probably the best A batch that I've had by far. It reminds me of some of the older Elijah Craigs. That is damn good. Let's get a last sip, guys. Cheers. Okay, so now I get a little bit of like leather showing up there in the middle of the palate, where it's like very caramel heavy. Again, there's that honey roasted peanut there, kind of on the front of the palate, with that caramel sweetness goes through. Caramel dominating the center of the palate, a little bit of like dry leather there. And into the finish, I would say the middle of the palate and into the finish is kind of where this one shines. Really picking up a lot of different stuff. Some burnt, like I said, some burnt sugars, some paprika, cayenne pepper, which is something, again, that I don't really pick up on anything else other than Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. Into the finish, gives it a little bit of that spiciness, a little bit of bite as it goes down. Definitely not from the proof. It is definitely the baking spices that are present. And there's also, like I said, the burnt sugars that kind of flow through there. But now there's like this very sweet oak that's really just like sitting on the back of the palate. Doesn't necessarily flow in through the finish, but like as it's gone down, I get this like this really sweet oak mixed in kind of with that leather on the middle of the palate. This is what I was hoping Elijah Craig was going to go back to. I do like that the proof is lower. Again, I feel like I'm able to pick up more flavor, and I'm not getting my palate's not getting burnt out by some of those high proof releases. This one, again, in my opinion, is the best A release that I've had, period. The A117, I believe, I was a big fan of. But this one sets the bar now for the A releases. Definitely excited to see what happens with their next release, the B series, the B release and the C release. But this one, very, very happy that I'm able to get this one. This is a fantastic release here from Elijah Craig. So I want to thank you guys for tuning into this episode of Dusty Dan's Whiskey Reviews. Guys, do yourselves a favor. If you've been a big fan of the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof releases, A, B, and C, do yourselves a favor. Go out and get a bottle of this A release. It is, in my opinion, the best A release that they've put out since A117, which, again, was my current favorite of the A releases. This one, in my opinion, blows it away. I think by having it at a lower proof, you're able to pick up more of those savory, rich, buttery flavors, as opposed to coming off hot, kind of burning out the palate a little bit. Again, you do pick up some of those peppers and baking spices in through the finish with some burnt sugars. Very, very caramel dominant on this one. Again, this one gets some high praise from me here. This is a fantastic release. I'm going to try to find another bottle here because I have a feeling I'm going to go through this one pretty quickly. But guys, if you're looking for more reviews like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button, bell notification to be alerted of any upcoming reviews or live streams. You also find me on Instagram at Dusty Dan's Whiskey Reviews. And until next time, guys, stay dusty.